Great. Welcome everyone to this space, this Rural Library Network Conversations for Action. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Regina Washington, Director of Rural Impact Networks and Managing Director for Rural Library Network. I'm so excited about having not only our team here with Elsa Reynolds, but also our community advisory council members and our network members that are going to join in today to help facilitate our networking for rural student success. So excited about having you all here today. We're trying something new today. So we'll be actually in affiliate group breakouts today. And as we uh, share different ideas and strategies as it's affiliated with the group that you select today. We hope that you also get acquainted with new members of the network, peers across the rural America. So we're excited to have you here. We'll also be what we'll be doing today, and here is a quick um, view of the membership. I'm showing you the map here. We have approximately 925 practitioners that's committed to rural libraries across the country. In terms of advancing cradle to career. We also are also glad to have Friends of Libraries as a part of that 925. And so I think I'm missing one particular slide. Okay, there it is. So today we're going to have an um, affiliate group breakout to where you all will get a chance to talk with your peers, those that select to be in youth services and share ideas. Then we also have a health integration breakout, and we'll have equity, diversity, inclusion discussion as well. And then we'll have advocacy, family engagement, and we got a new one that was requested at the end of last year called Library Practitioners of Color. And so that would be a new affiliate group that we're hoping to also grow. The next thing that we'll be doing is once we get into the breakout groups, you'll have questions here that would be addressed to you. We'll come back to the full group and do some sharing out. And then we'll go back into the breakout group number 2, and then come back with announcements with Chelsea Gifford. Okay. So you'll find that you'll have equity, family engagement, advocacy, health integration, youth services, and library practitioners of color jam boards. At that point, you can bring or write up your own responses once you get into those particular breakouts. So welcome to this networking session. I'm excited about this. Is new. And without further ado, we're going to have Elsa to call up the actual breakout options here, if you would. Chelsea, do we have anything else to announce before we go into our breakouts? Anything?
I don't think so. I feel like we'll get some grant opportunity announcements following at the end. So make sure that you stick around for that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So you should be able to see options here shortly once Elsa gives you that, and then you'll go right on in and start the conversation there.
Um, I guess I thought it was shared on the screen. So we have the options there. When the breakout rooms open, they'll all be labeled. So whichever group you would like to join, you can join it that way. So when you're ready for me to send them to breakout, I will send them.
All right. So you can actually let them select um, manually or their own particular choice, and you can go ahead and start that right now, Elsa. So we're going to take about a few minutes. So each group, let's take a minute to share out. And I also was in one of the groups here, the equity, diversity, and inclusion. And we responded to 2 questions for that. We had enough time. So I'm going to call upon Jason from Indiana to actually respond to both questions in about a minute, meaning the first thing was what challenges he shared in the group as it relates to EDI, and then what is one strategy that he is utilizing to advance EDI. Go ahead, Jason.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Jason. I work in a rural library in north central Indiana in Tipton County. I became director here about a year ago, and I was telling Regina, my very first day, we had a board meeting where someone came to challenge the book, A Boy Named Penelope. And so in response to that, the book was never formally challenged, but in response to that, we kind of beefed up our request for reconsideration policy that we had. Another thing we've been able to develop, myself and my assistant director, we've been able to develop a training program for our staff. And it covers a lot of areas, but we have 2 tracks, one for general staff, one for managers. And our most recent modules for general staff is library ethics and values, because a number of our employees have never been exposed to concepts like intellectual freedom or freedom to read, those kinds of things. So we thought it was important to give people some exposure to that. And then the management track, our state library subscribes to LinkedIn Learning for all library employees in the state. So I've asked my managers to sign up for LinkedIn Learning, and we're going to be working through an EDI course. It's, I think, 7 courses bundled into a EDI track. So we're just trying to expose people to the concepts of EDI, and so we all have an understanding of who might be in the community.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we're going to hand off to health integration. Faith?
Sure. In my group, we talked about some health challenges that are in our communities that would be related to young people in particular. And some of the things that came up would be vaccine hesitancy amongst school-age people. We talked a little bit about how it might be okay going through school, but then maybe it might be a barrier when they get to college, depending on what college they go to. If they have to have a vaccine record to get into college, then it kind of affects in some ways where you can go. So that's an issue kind of on that moving forward in their education and career. Also mental health issues amongst the young, the stress that they may have from anxiety, isolation, social media, identity for those that might identify as something that has been deemed kind of non-traditional, the ability about being able to talk to people about it, not having support at home. So those are the kind of issues that exist. And also suicide rates rising amongst that group. And just in general, overall, including young people, challenges with patrons that we are seeing coming into the libraries that we know clearly seem to be kind of dealing with something, and how to help them. You know, maybe that's out of the scope of what we do. So you don't want to overstep, you don't want to give medical advice, you don't want to do anything that could adversely affect them, but you want to think about some, you know, how can you help them? So we talked a little bit about the strategies, and that is in my area, we've been talking a lot about trying to combat misinformation, health misinformation in particular. So some ways to do that, and just, resharing of reliable information. Also, there was a grant, a person in my group got a grant that they actually would get a professional to come into the library to help people with some of those things. So like substance abuse, counseling, kind of like in my area, it's been here a while, kind of like the social work in the library type of deal, but in smaller areas that may not have been as prevalent. But those are the kind of things that we're seeing to get someone else who's more qualified to deal with some of the people's issues than the actual staff. And then programming, of course, around that, team programming, other things, programs that might support the stigmas of mental health, just trying to improve people in that way. So.
Great, thank you so much. And we're gonna, adjust the timing here just a little bit. This is rich conversation. I think we can do this. Let's go ahead and do a share out for family engagement. And then we'll go to advocacy really quick. Let's see how we go. Family engagement, Nick?
Hi, everyone. We had a really nice conversation. And I think what was cool was that our libraries are all dealing with very different contexts and structures and populations, but we identified some very clear commonalities and some, shared some different strategies that we're each using that could potentially be applied across the different contexts. With particularly looking at the challenges that we're facing with family engagement and also the BIPOC community, space and access are the biggest challenges in terms of transportation limitations on a tribal reservation, for example, or in very rural border community, or even in a rural or suburban community like I'm in Maryland, and how that really creates tremendous barriers to access. And then even if we could get the money for the new things like a mobile library, we don't necessarily have the money to staff the mobile library. So how do we do things? The other piece of the challenges that we talked about were, maybe coming up with strategies for deepening the engagement with our customers beyond just whatever they're already doing with us, because we know there's kind of endless opportunity to go beyond just using the internet, to go beyond using print and copy services, to go beyond just checking out a book. But what does it mean for the libraries to really be the community hubs for any kind of function or purpose?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's go to advocacy. Jenny?
Hi, everybody. So I think when we talked about advocacy challenges, one of the big ones that came out first was just geography, which is in rural settings. We know we're getting people from a lot of places. One of the folks mentioned being on a state line. So they have people who are really supportive but can't vote for their initiatives in their town. And then just talking in general about how do we get the word out? How do we make sure people understand the roles of libraries and all the things that we're doing in our communities, and also making sure we're meeting those needs of the community members. So there's a lot of levels of that. And of course, the big elephant in the room, which is book banning that's going on nationwide, and the challenges that we're seeing there and how it's affecting our most marginalized patrons. John, do you want to chime in and add anything to those things?
No, I mean, you kind of hit it. They are, I would say that like things like rural internet access, book banning, they're all things that everybody's dealing with. Small and rural libraries, we have to do it, it hits us harder. And we talked a lot about where you get support for that. So no, that's pretty where we're at.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And last but not least, youth services with Sheila.
Hi, everyone. We had a ball talking about youth services and the challenges that we face in public and school libraries. We found that there are challenges with working with teachers and getting them to review materials that are appropriate for their classrooms, but they have to review in order for us to make sure that they're appropriate for the classrooms. We also talked about getting middle and high schoolers into libraries. And we talked about creating programs that would bring in a variety of children and not the same set of children to attend library programs. So we came up with solutions, believe it or not. Well, some that we would think would work. We thought that by working with by working with having a teacher inside to work with us, maybe having a lead teacher. I think they said a lead teacher, someone who has experience, who could be that middle person and could help us relate or communicate and make that link happen a little better. We also said to get middle and high schoolers and maybe gamify reading and come up with things that they would enjoy doing inside the library and get them inside there. And then creating programs, variety of programs for them to attend, maybe popular things that are popular for that time, like Legos are very popular, doing programs on Legos and kind of mixing the Legos with books. Once in our library, we did Legos with Green Eggs and Ham, Dr. Seuss's birthday tomorrow. So we did Green Eggs and Ham and had them to build something from the book, Green Eggs and Ham with Legos. And that was very popular.
Great.
So it's thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And everybody, wonderful discussion. And what we're going to do is go back again into our breakout groups. Choose your same breakout groups if you can, or not. You can, you have a choice. But the next time what we're doing is now, how can the network now continue this conversation in these affiliate groups moving forward? What type of networking activities would you like to see that this network provides for you? And then what topics? And also what kind of support resources would you like to see as well? So Elsa, if you could open up those breakout rooms again, each of the facilitators, please go back to your affiliate group. And those that can go to the same groups, that would be great. If not, you can switch it up if you like as well. All right, wonderful. Looks like everybody's coming back into the room. Good to have you back. Again, I'm so excited about this first opportunity here throughout the year to really allow for this affiliate group breakouts for networking, for sharing ideas, and again, best practices that is actually being used. You went back in, hopefully, into your breakout groups to kind of talk about how can we continue this networking opportunity, right? And what would that look like in support of your work? So I'm going to call on, and we're going to do popcorn for the next couple minutes. Jason, what are your thoughts?
Sure. We chatted in the EDI breakout just about regional opportunities to get together. I know it's always, just from past experience, it's always great to have different perspectives from different states. I talked about attending the Association for Rural and Small Libraries conferences in the past, and never having being in Indiana, never having been exposed to libraries on reservations. That's the first time I learned about libraries on reservations. So just having different perspectives from different states was really helpful. So I like the regional approach.
Excellent, thank you. Faith, you have maybe one idea?
Yeah, I mean, very similar, not necessarily regional, but love it. There was just a request to have more opportunities for kind of this small discussion and sharing of information so people can hear what other people are doing in their libraries, other solutions, even hearing the problems, because a lot of times you'll see like, okay, this person is also having this issue. Maybe we can work on something together or brainstorm together. So those types of small discussion seems to work.
Excellent. Nick, you have one?
Yeah, I think one thing that came through was, just the spaces to talk through things with other colleagues, but also very strategically thinking about ways that we can pursue funding together, because bringing folks together from different parts of the country with different contexts can be very compelling to a funder. All
right, wonderful. Great. Jenny, John, you have one?
Sure. Ours was, of course, funding, but what I got a sense out, a lot of things is local hands get dirty. A lot of the libraries are islands to themselves. And so that localization can help bond, where we either have other groups that are already bonding regionally, but that local focus can really kind of mold the clay. Jenny?
Excellent. Yeah. Jenny, you have one?
Yeah, I mean, we also talked about the regional level things as well, like what we could do regionally to kind of meet people where they are and where they're able to be.
Excellent. And I do know that Aerosol also does regional too, right? So John, you're one of the regional, volunteers as well for that. And so working alongside of Aerosol to see how the network could also support those networking regionals as well too, might be an option. But yeah, Aerosol does a really good job with that. So Sheila, you have one before we shift into announcements?
We actually went back into the previous ones, but we have to say that this Rural Library Network is an excellent networking tool that we could bridge the gap with information that we might not have opportunity to get. So thank you. This would be the network that we need to focus on.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all the feedback. This is what it's all about, right? It's those small, intimate groups sometimes that we get so much value from the sharing of our experiences in the libraries across rural America. So at this point, what we're going to do, and this is the fun part. This is, a lot of times you get to hear a chance about the resources. And so what we're going to do is hand off to Chelsea, and so that she can go through all the announcements that we have. And keep in mind too, that if anybody has other resources that are out there that we did not cover, please take time to share when it's appropriate, okay? All right, Chelsea, we're gonna hand it over to you. Let me pull up the slides here.
Well, as she's getting that ready, I'm just going to share a couple different grant opportunities that are coming from Save the Children. We have a early learning community project grant and a summer reading challenge grant. So if you've been around the network, you may have seen some of these opportunities before. This is just another round of those particular opportunities. So I wanted to make sure that I could share that with you quickly. I know we're at the end, but just to give you guys a chance to know that those applications opened up today, and we'll have some opportunities for you to learn a little bit more about that if you'd like to. So next slide, please. So the summer reading challenge. Oh, is this the first one? I'm sorry. Yeah. Nope. Okay. There we go. The Early Learning Community Project. This one is around something that you could do with your library in conjunction with some community partners. So I know a lot of libraries, we rely on those connections that we have with other organizations within the community. So this is just a great opportunity to come up with a proposal around supporting some of these kindergarten readiness, third grade reading or math proficiency goals, and creating something that will give opportunities for families to learn outside of that school setting. And so we actually have developed a menu of options that would come along. It's linked to this in the application, so don't feel like you have to memorize all of this. But it has some of those opportunities, some tried and true best practices that have happened within rural communities across the nation. And so that is something that you can review, come up with something that works for your particular community or library setting, and then we will be able to review and possibly fund that project. So you'll have a chance, it's all online. Oh, I'm sorry. You'll have a chance to join online, fill out that application. You can see a sample of what's going to be asked, have time to plan and prepare, and then applications are due on the 15th. You will have to have an access code. Again, pay attention to that. For the early learning community projects, it's community, and then there's another code for the next one, which is the summer reading challenge. So we can head on over to that slide. This goes along perfectly with summer reading programs because we know most public libraries are doing the summer reading program. We also have our own summer reading challenge, which is very similar. And so we want to be able to fund and kind of partner together to promote that reading during those summer months. And so our time frame falls between June 1st and September 8th, but we know that those programs vary for the duration of the summer. So some of them are a little bit shorter, some of them start a little bit before June, and that's okay. That's sort of our typical time frame, and we'll support whatever kind of falls within that, within reason. But we're encouraging that reading at least 20 minutes a day, every day for the duration of the challenge, and encouraging children of all ages to do that, so they can be read to, they can read to someone. So we want to get everybody involved in the family. So again, that's that same process, the same link. I would drop it in the chat, but I don't know that I can do that at this point, but I will at the end. And same due date as far as the application goes. And again, that code is summer read. So if we can go to the next slide. I know that you probably have some questions, and I know we don't have enough time to go through the whole overview, so I have set up some office hours overview sessions next Monday and Thursday. And so I would love it if you would email me. I'll send you the link to those chats, and we can do a full overview of the grant and any questions that you might have as far as how to apply and what all goes into it, impact reports and those things. So I'd love to hear from everybody. We'll send follow up with some more information, one pagers, stuff that you can look over on your own time. But I did want to put a plug in to make sure that you know that that was open right now, and you guys can consider getting some of that funding to support your summer reading or an early learning community project. All right.
So at this point, we do want to, is there one particular question, hot question that you like to have? Chelsea, can you entertain at least one question?
Absolutely. Any questions?
All right. Anybody can come off mic. We'll take one question.
All right, I'll ask. Is that you said the first amount was 5,000 to 15,000. Is that just for the first grant or for both grants?
That's just for the early learning project. So it sort of depends. I mean, it'll be more of a competitive process, but at least 5,000. We're not going to do smaller sums of money for that. But it just kind of varies. Whatever project that you pick, I mean, you'll see the menu. It has a lot of different things. Some of them will take a little bit more funding and some of them won't. But for summer reading, at least 1,000 or at least 1,500. But you know, you can propose what you can, and we can see what we've got available to be able to fund that program.
Excellent. Thank you. Awesome question. All right, I'll go to the next slide for you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No other question. Okay. So yeah, I guess that's it. We will not have a conversation for action call in April. So the next one will be on Wednesday, May 3rd, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern. So we hope you all will join us again for those. And again, we'll send some follow-ups with the information that you heard today. But really, thank you all so much for your engagement. I think this is a great opportunity, like everyone has stated, for that networking, discussions, finding similarities between our libraries across the nation. So we appreciate you, and we hope to see you again in May.
Awesome. Thank you. Take care. And also share the word, you know, those that are within your catchment area, your other colleagues, have them also join us next time. Bring a friend. Okay. Take care. Definitely, we appreciate all the things that you're doing in your library, and we hope to see you again in May. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Jenny, John, Elsa. Thank you all. Thank you, Faith, for definitely serving as facilitators today. Thank you so much. All right, I'll see you soon. Take care.